Hi there, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our Higher Maths Flipped Learning video presentation. My name's Karen Oppo. I was a maths and physics teacher and I'm now Quality Improvement Officer at East Dunbartonshire Council. I'm also joined today by Nikki Lyons, who's PT Maths at Port Glasgow High School in Inverclyde. And this is a presentation where we discuss how we got together to create our flipped learning resource. So the course development started while Nikki and I were working together at Kings Park Secondary School in Glasgow in 2016. Nikki was PT Maths at Kings Park Secondary School and I was a maths and physics teacher, and that year I only really taught the senior phase apart from one small S1 support class. Now, we'd been talking that year, it'd been a really hard slog that year with our pupils to get through the higher maths course. And we were seeing over the years a real decline in, willingness to take notes, willingness to ask questions. They were becoming more and more passive. And it was a real struggle we tried cooperative learning, but it was really hard to get through the course that year. And we were looking for something different to try. We had been to the Scottish Mathematical Council conference in Stirling, and we went to presentations. I listened to Craig McDougall from Larbert High School. That was the year he was just starting with his team to look at flipped learning to deliver the National 5 course. And it was really inspiring to hear what he'd done and how he'd used his Active Inspire, I think it was a Promedian, to record his lessons. And they were recording them live as they were teaching them. And we also got chatting to Stuart Wells from the High School of Glasgow. He also was developing flipped learning for National 5 and higher, and you'll be aware of all his resources on his Maths 180 website. So Nikki went to talk to the head teacher about how we could develop this course and implement it at Kings Park Secondary School. She offered us development time. So we had protected time during exam leave, May into June, to really get our teeth into developing the course. So we start at the beginning, we start Unit 1, Module 1, and we started to take our PowerPoints. And there was a lot of teaching and learning discussions went on between myself and Nikki about how we taught different topics. And what you'll see when you look through the resources, very often we agree to disagree on how we taught it. So there's different ways of teaching. We did different PowerPoints, and we just let the children decide which one they prefer as well. So we got that year, we started the course, and we got an awful lot done May, June over the summer holidays. And then throughout the rest of the year, we had some protected time to keep going with the course. We got most of the course done that year. I think we kind of gave up near the end of Unit 3, got tricky to animate the PowerPoints. However, since then, Nikki has been continuing to develop and refine the resource. It's tried and tested. She's been using it every year to teach higher maths, and her department at Port Glasgow High School have been using it over the past 3 years. And later on, Nikki's going to talk you through some of her attainment figures as well. So how does flipped learning differ from a traditional classroom? Well, in a traditional classroom, it's usually a teacher-led discussion from the front. The teacher delivers the content to the pupils. Okay, so you're imparting knowledge through taking notes. They're going through worked examples. Teacher tries one, pupils try one. As you know, time flashes by in a classroom, and there's usually little time in class for application of knowledge. That's something we expect our pupils to do for homework. Pupils had to complete homework on a nightly basis from the textbooks, and also they had formal exercises as assessment pieces to complete. There's an awful high volume of work with expecting our pupils to complete, really unsupported by the teacher. So what happens is they either don't do it because it's too hard, or they try and do it, they ask for some friends to help them. But what we were finding was when it came to formal ink exercises, they were just copying each other. They were copying all the errors as well. There wasn't any thinking going into it. They weren't challenging each other. I actually at one point refused to mark the formal ink exercises because the quality was so poor. So they really felt unsupported at home. So what changed when we went to flipped learning? Well, what happened then was the pupil were required to access new learning at home via the voiced over PowerPoints, the videos that we had created. They were delivering new content. Now, please be aware that the videos that you're going to get today are usually the introduction to the topic. Okay, it's the basics of what they have to understand, what they have to know, what they have to learn. When they come into the class, we do the high level development of that knowledge in class. So you're still needed as a teacher. We're not handing everything over to the pupils. But anyway, they have to learn the basics. They take the notes. They have to listen carefully. They have to think about what they're doing. We talk them through worked examples. These are highly animated PowerPoints. We talk them through the worked examples, and then they actually have to be active and try some examples on their own. At the end of the video, we give them the answers to their try on their own examples, and we encourage them that if they've not got the correct answer, that they really have to go back through what they've learned, try and find their own mistakes. At that point, they can also talk to their peers in their classroom to see if they can help each other to find out what's gone wrong. They could also have an open door policy. They can come and find the teacher if they've got the time to try and get some help on that one as well. Or when they come into class the next time we see them, that's the first thing we usually ask them. Any problems with the try on your own examples? And that starts a pupil discussion in the classroom. If that video has been okay, then what we do is we put up a starter problem to assess their knowledge and understanding. It's usually a past paper or a high level problem. And the pupils lead the discussion, they come to the board, they solve the problem, big discussion over common misconceptions, any issues, any mistakes made on the board. And then we hand over the majority of the lesson to pupils really working together on high level problem solving. And we do that in a cooperative learning manner. They were sitting at groups. Now, their groups would change depending on the topic and how they had got on with their learning and the videos. Um, Myself would sit at a table and I would encourage pupils to come over and sit with me if they really didn't understand and were looking for more support. And we kind of had bronze, silver, and gold tables with bronze, silver, and gold differentiated tasks for them to try on their own. At all stations, when they were doing that, they were given the answers. I mean, not the full solutions, just an answer. And they were encouraged then that if they've got a question incorrect, then they were getting support either from the teacher or from their peers again to help them find their mistakes. And pupils were then self-assessing their progress every lesson as they were going on. And they became really confident at asking questions, challenging each other, supporting each other. So it gone from a very passive classroom to a very active classroom. We still asked them to do formal ink exercises, but they became in-class assessments. So we had a assessment jotter. So all these formal ink exercises were then collated together. It gave them a really clear understanding of their progress through the course and also their next steps in learning if there's been any misconceptions. So it's a really good tool for them to keep an eye on how they were getting through the topics. You know, and there's always some topics people find easy and some other topics that people feel challenging, but we're also reminding them that the higher maths course builds on each topic. So if you don't understand it at the beginning in Unit 1, you're going to have real issues as we're progressing through the rest of the coursework. So all our videos follow the same logical pattern that we had decided, and we did a lot of reading and research on flipped learning to find out how does it work the best. We decided to save all our recorded PowerPoints as MP4 files. Now the reason for that was because MP4 can work on any phone. A lot of our pupils didn't have access to technology at the time. They don't have their own personal laptops. Some did have iPads were bringing into class to take photographs of notes, that kind of thing. But what we found was they all had really fancy phones. And as the course went on, what we were told as feedback was that pupils were accessing the videos on their phones during supported study while they're in school. So that was really useful for them to continue with the work as well. So each video starts with a front page. It's got the title of the topic. It's also got a statement of National 5 prior knowledge. What do they have to know from National 5 to progress through this topic? And we also gave them large National 5 revision packs to help with that one. There was always a learning intention, key steps. What were the key steps to solve the problems for that topic? A bit like success criteria. And then we worked through step by step, fully animated PowerPoint on 2 to 3 worked examples. We explained really clearly and slowly the reasons why each step was happening. The pupils were completing the notes. You see that little note icon there? They were then trained, if they saw that, then they were to copy that into their jotters, or we sometimes gave them printed notes to complete as well. Once they'd worked through the worked examples, they then had something to do on their own. The try on your own activity, which was again 2 to 3 questions for them to assess, have they really understood the content of the video? They would pause the video, they would complete the activity in a time and place they're choosing. You didn't have to do it all in the one night if they didn't want to. And then when they unpaused the video, we flashed up the answer. Not a full solution, just the answer. They were then encouraged, if they didn't have the correct answer, to go back through, try and find from their notes, what was the bit they didn't understand? Have they made a little error? Has it been a misconception? We encouraged them to talk to their peers, to talk to their teacher, to try and get support with that one. Every video asked them to self-assess their progress, red, amber, green. How did they feel they got on? And there's also extra work if they really wanted to complete an extra task and it was a Heinemann textbook we were using at the time. So just to exercise from the textbook that matches the topic they were doing on their video. It was a short plenary. What have you learned today? What were the key learning points from this video? Now, all the videos are short 15-minute videos. The learners can pause the teacher, they can think about what's been said, they make sure they understand what's been said, they can rewind and try again. So that made them really active thinkers and learners. So I'm going to stop for just now. I'm going to pass over to Nikki, and Nikki's going to show you an example of one of our videos and then discuss attainment figures with you.
So this is the first page of our notes and how we introduce every video. So we have a learning intention and also the essential skills from National 5 that are required for this topic. So here we're looking at intersection of lines and parabolas. The video will then talk the pupils through some background information. This will already be printed on their paper copy of their notes. So a lot of this, as you know, will be knowledge from National 5 about their discriminant. When pupils then come to the first example, they will see the little notepad symbol in the top right corner, and this indicates to them that they will need to now write something down. So when pupils receive the notes, it looks exactly like this, with just the question at the top, and we're expecting the pupils to copy line by line exactly the correct solution as we're going through it. So we would talk through it line by line, and pupils here can listen and watch. They can then pause it to copy it down, or pause it just to kind of take it all in. So once we've got a couple of examples down, we then go to some questions for them to try on their own. So we'd ask them at this stage to pause the video, and they would pause it here, and then after a couple of seconds what we would then do is we would reveal our answers. So this would be the point of discussion when they come into class the next day. Who couldn't get the examples on their own, and you would work individually with pupils, or you could work in small groups, whilst letting the rest of the class that did understand the video go on to practice with the teacher supporting them when they need it. Next part of all our videos ask pupils to self-assess their progress. How did they feel they got on? And it does direct them to pages from the Heinemann textbook if they would like extra practice. So if they would like to do a little bit extra work, there's some more questions there. And our plenary really is just what have they learned today. Key steps or success criteria is all listed at this point. So what are the benefits of doing flipped learning within your class? So there are a large number of benefits that I feel, and one of the main ones is really a common teaching methodology used across your department. So you know that all pupils are getting the same examples and somewhat the same experience within the department. It's definitely created opportunities for professional dialogue. When Karen and I were first creating these videos, certainly it opened up, well, how do you teach certain topics? And certainly there's a couple of videos where we have made two up for the same topic, for instance the section formula of vectors, just so that pupils have a choice as well. So it's been really good to open up professional dialogue, and even now when I've been showing staff at Port Glasgow High how to use flipped learning, it's certainly opened up lots of opportunities for sharing resources and ideas. There's definitely more of a focus on active learning. You've got more time in class to basically be a bit more creative with the work that you're giving pupils. They have a textbook home with them. I use a lot of worksheets for hire, so they do this in class, but certainly there's lots of opportunities for treasure hunts, for group work, past paper questions, and really pupils working together. There's certainly more teacher to pupil time in class. If pupils are struggling, certainly you can get round a lot of them within the class because you're not lecturing for half that period at the start. If pupils are absent, they can catch up, but the main thing when we have surveyed pupils is it's a really good revision aid, and they've looked back at the videos during prelim time or when revising for their exam. Certainly it motivates pupils. I mean, I have had pupils say to me, oh, my mum was doing the videos with me at home, or they've really enjoyed watching them. It's certainly not for all of them, but they soon get into the swing of things and get used to this style of teaching. The pupils ask questions, and they lead a lot of the learning as well in the classroom. One of the other things we do, because their videos are their homework, now all the formal ink exercises we used to use are used as in-class assessments. So we have extended assessments after every topic, and they may include some previous content, but it's mainly an individual topic, and it's all done under exam conditions. And just really to motivate the pupils, I do a prize for the best mark in the class, but also for the most improved pupil compared to their last test. Now, these assessments, along with the prelim, has been invaluable when we had to do estimates, especially this year for SQA. And another benefit is just that pupils are then trained for life at college and university. They may need to do some reading or prep work before tutorials, and certainly this is getting them into that good habit. Lastly, it's raised attainment. Certainly there's lots of factors that contribute to attainment, but both at Kings Park the higher results improved, and also they have at Port Glasgow High. So I'm going to just share some of the attainment analysis at Port Glasgow. So I joined Port Glasgow in August of 2017, where you can see we've got a pass rate of 46%. So through the last 3 years, and this is with the introduction of flipped learning, we have gradually we've increased our pass mark to high 70s, and this year 80%. But you can also see our presentations have also increased. So August 2018 we had 22 pupils sitting higher. This year we had 41. So I think that just paints a really positive picture. And I don't want you to just take our word for it. So here is just some quotes from other schools that are using higher flipped learning. So Mandy is PT Maths at Hill Park Secondary School, and certainly from her experience there you can see that she thought initially pupils didn't put in sufficient effort, but again I think with a lot of training and teaching the pupils how to do it, this has now improved and her pupils are engaged, and it's fantastic to see that her results are showing an upward trend over the last 3 years. So fantastic, and thanks for that feedback, Mandy. So Leslie was one of the teachers at Port Glasgow High that had been new to flipped learning, and certainly I know for Leslie she wasn't that keen on it at first. I think it's that control element of a maths teacher, wanting to make sure that you teach everything in the classroom and not trusting that pupils will go home, do the videos and just get practicing in class. But certainly now that she's had a couple of years working with it, she is seeing the benefits of it, and she can see the benefits of her having the time in class to support all the pupils when they are doing the material rather than sending a textbook exercise home with them. Ronnie again was the first teacher at Port Glasgow High to go through the higher flipped learning with me, and certainly he's seen the benefits of pupils who were absent and as a revision tool. So he's seen that here. And Debbie Morrison is just about to go through our full first year of teaching it higher as flipped learning, and certainly she thinks it gives them a lot more responsibility, which is what we're looking for when they're in S5 and S6. So at this point in our webinar, we were asking people if they had any questions. Obviously you may be watching this training back, so if there's anything you would like to ask, please get in contact with Karen or myself, and our email addresses are listed there. Thank you.